I alive? Am I live? Anybody there? You know that's my standard greeting. This is Judy from Artistic Artifacts. We are in Alexandria, Virginia, and if you can believe it, we're mid-Atlantic, and it was 80 degrees yesterday. Now, a week ago, we had snow enough that people didn't want to drive and leave, and definitely nobody wanted to leave their house. So this is craziness, but I'm always happy when it's warm. Always, always. So today, we have a lot going on. So we're actually in the middle room of the store, which has kind of been known as the Tilda Blender Marsha Dursey room. And we have some textiles from around the world, as well as our pattern rack that's clothing and accessories, and lots of baskets for sale. So this is a different room that you've not seen before, and we thought, well, we have a long arm class going up in the front, and we have a beginning mastery class for 3s and 4s. Bernina's in the back room, so this is the only room available, but it gives you a different place, another way to see our store. So we're glad that you're with us today. The one big thing is that vote for your local quilt store started with By Annie. And we really hope that you will go and vote for us, of course. And they ask you why you vote, and reading the comments and things from our customers who voted are really awesome. We really, really like it. It's just kind of nice to see how far the community reaches, and the comments of support that you have for us. We really, it's quite wonderful to read, and I thank you in advance for those. So please vote for us. Please know that we do appreciate your comments and do notice them and read them. So you can, there's a QR code. Chris has posted it on social media, Facebook and Instagram, Chris? Yes? Correct. So there's a QR code that will take you right to By Annie's, but I know that there's lots of links out there too. So definitely this is a very important contest, but it's also really, as I said, nice for the owners of the stores to know why you like to shop with them. So do that for us if you would. Vote for us.
So we've got lots of people signing in from all over. Oh, thank you, Mary Jo. You and your staff deserve every vote. Because we have so much going on today, we won't be responding. I'll be watching for questions, but we'll respond to some of them in writing and post the links after we're finished. But the first thing that someone has asked about is the quilt behind you.
Okay. This is Cotton Beach, and there is a kit for it. It's Katie pattern, which I love, and I really loved the beach fabrics and things, the shells. And I put a few more solid squares in there and cut them, and I flipped them. You know, mine is definitely going to be a little more improv than maybe what GE Designs thought they were going to make, but I really was really happy with it. And I love how these Tilda fabrics go together. They just all work from collection to collection. So we do have this kit, and then we have a tailor kit with Tilda fabrics, and we are almost out of these. So if you're interested, I would suggest we're down to 1 or 2 of these kits, and I would order it now if you would like it.
And the next Tilda design,
Jubilee, yes,
is in the warehouse, but we can't release it until February 1st. So it is here.
It's on pre-order.
You can pre-order it, and we'll be prepping the pre-orders as we get these all labeled and ready to ship out. So as soon as we're able to, they will be out the door and on the floor. So Tilda is definitely, we have restrictions as to when we can put it on pre-order, when we can put it on the web, and when we actually can start shipping you. So is that my film crew behind me?
That's your film crew, yeah.
Welcome back. Hope you're feeling better this morning.
Thank you, I am. Good. Captured it.
The other thing I want to let you know is, as you see my vest that I have, this is one that we had made based on my suggestions, and we have 3 patterns of indigo. Then they are in the sales section. Now, I would always recommend that if you think you're a small, buy a medium. If you think that you're a large, buy an extra large. So I'm in an extra large, and I actually can button them, which I normally don't do. I wear them open. And the other thing is, if anybody's doing any thrifting, this is totally aside and not related to anything, but I go to the men's section to get my shirts because they're the ones that have the cool collars and everything. So I buy the men's shirts that are more comfortable, and I think they're snazzier actually than what you find in the women's thrift section. So that's where I get my shirts. So that's my secret for the day. And I just happened to have hit the bullseye at the thrift store the other day. So sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. Anybody else do thrift shopping? I love it. Love it, love it. So, all right. Who's been with me for the last 3 weeks? Everybody? Have you seen it on our recordings? Did you come live? So you see that we are creating fodder that is more textile oriented than paper oriented. We've made silk paper, we've made some muslin and paper, fabric paper. We made some thread, and oh my gosh, I forgot. I'll show you this next month. I very rarely go to Facebook because I have Chris who manages everything for me, so I kind of scroll it a little bit, and there was something that popped up on my feed, and it was somebody who had a hole in their jeans, which we know that that's a trend, and she cut a larger hole like this big, and then she took netting and put the thread mush between the netting and stitched it into the hole. So like she made it a star, I think, and then she had the netting that she sewed onto the jeans. It was really cool. I'm gonna try it. I haven't had time to try it, but I was like, oh my gosh, how do they know to send me these things? So it was very, very cool. I don't know if anybody else has seen some cool hacks like that. All right, are we ready? Ready for pictures, photos. Everybody ready? Okay, I need some more coffee. So I'm gonna need roller skates today, I know it. I love pictures. I love orphan pictures, I love family pictures, I love postcards. Really, really postcards. If we go into an antique store and my husband sees a drawer of postcards, he finds a seat because he knows I have to look at every one because I love them. So you'll find in the store that we sell, and these are a little tough to put online, so I think that this is an in-store thing until we really get our head wrapped around Shopify. But we have packs of vintage that have some really awesome things, and then a lot of times this is actually a advertising card, and you can see on the back that it has stuff like that. So you'll find these in the store because I'll scan them and hold on to them. I haven't gotten to the point where I use the originals, but you certainly can do that. Using the originals by putting them on your quilt is, to me, a perfect idea too. I just haven't gotten there yet. So I'm gonna kind of give you a leap into next month by showing you some of the pieces that use pictures in, I think, a different way. Now these two you've seen before. So this is the piece that is in Lesley Riley's photo memory book. So this is using transfer artist paper and on a muslin, and I created that. This is transfer artist paper and fabric paper there, and that's on a piece of rust. So I'm pointing out what I'm putting him on so that you know. This is a piece, this is a very early piece, 2006. It actually has a label on it, whoa. I took a piece of linen and I did the transfer right on the vintage piece of linen. Did that a long, long time ago.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Yeah, I have a set of paper dolls that I squirreled away from my mom. This is not a picture. I'm not sure why I pulled that, but it is stitching. So this is the other thing when I say using your postcard. This was is a something from a gift store, I think, about Paris, and it just kind of hit me that I thought it was cool. So I actually used a three-dimensional piece with a picture on it to hang on my quilt. I'm all about 3D and texture and coming out. And then this is another one of my tricks where I take a pin. The pin holds the Eiffel Paris in. We have a pin up there. And I've just pinned them on the back. I haven't had to destroy any of the jewelry because I just pin it through the quilt. I know people don't believe this, but I try really hard not to destroy anything. This piece is kind of a mixed media piece in that the photo transfer was a transfer artist paper onto Luchador, and it didn't work. I did not have a good picture. It just did not work. So, of course, I never throw anything out because maybe something will come to me later. And I went in and I collaged with some chips and Angelina. I put some paper, I printed it out on paper, and so I tried to resurrect the picture by adding stuff to it. But this is on Luchador, and I've printed on Luchador before, and you can see it kind of gets a little crackly as it gets handled, and my stuff goes all over the place and definitely gets handled, and so it smooths and it becomes a little bit softer, and so Luchador is a good way to do it. And then this piece I showed last week, which I'm trying to figure out what to do with it, but it's percolating in my head. This is a transfer that was done on silk paper. So transfer artist paper with on silk paper. But I have some ideas on this one. It's coming. It's here. It's here.
You have a question about what is Luchador?
Okay, Luchador is a synthetic. And I don't think we have, I don't have it. We sell it. It is a synthetic, non-woven that is a very light, so the idea is that you use it when you want your light to come through. So I'm always talking about what's the best ways to use the materials. So I would not cover it with opaque paint and use it that way, although you can if it's right for your project. But I tend to use it for pictures, for book pages. So let me see if I can. So see how.
Thanks, Maya. She posted the link.
All right.
It takes a village.
It takes a village, that is for sure. So that's what Luchador is, and we do sell it. It is fun. But the idea of it is that it is more transparent, and think about how to use it. But a lot of book artists started using it. Lesley Riley, I know, was one of the first artists that I knew about that was working with Luchador. She's very cutting edge in what she does and finds, again, unusual materials and things to incorporate into her artwork. So it's very cool. All right. Any other questions? Okay. Now, as I traveled around to shows, everybody used the term of transferring when they were talking about a photo. When you're using a photo, there's a direct print and there's transfer. So direct print is when you're going to print on this fabric, and we usually sell cotton lawn. It's not great for hand stitching. We'll work on that a little bit. But it's backed with a piece of plastic that gets it to run through the printer. Can you see that if I wrinkle? And there's cotton lawn on here. So it's flat, it's pre-treated so that the inks stay on it, and it's always for an inkjet printer, not a laser printer. Laser printers deal with heat, inkjets are not heat. So if we put this through a laser printer, it's going to melt this plastic and ruin your printer. So definitely, that took me years to figure out. And no, I did not do that to a printer. Most of the time, that's how I learn. But it just, there's a difference that the toner burns into the paper rather than lays down on top of it like an inkjet. So most of these photos are strictly for inkjets. So that is directly printing the picture and using that piece of fabric with the printed picture on your artwork. The ink is staying on. When we talk about transferring, that means that we are printing our pictures on another substrate. We are printing it, so this is wash away paper, which we use Paper Solvy, but there's many other washaways, as I've been corrected by Liz multiple times. I always refer to this as a Paper Solvy transfer. She's like, no, there's other water soluble papers. And there's a great article by Redmond and Quilting Arts this month about doing some of this transfer. So if you get that, look for that article. I love her artwork, absolutely love it. And so that is transferring. So we're going to take this ink that we printed on Paper Solvy and we're going to transfer it to another surface. So does that make sense? That for years and years was a misunderstanding that we found when we were attending shows. So transferring is a whole different thing from direct print. So, okay. Transfer artist paper and the Paper Solvy. So transfer artist paper is going to give us some polymer. It's a polymer base that holds on to the ink from the inkjet printer, and then we're going to transfer it with heat. Now, I showed you a lot of surfaces that pictures are posted on, but for the most part, because I don't have a drawer full of pictures, but I do have a stash of pictures, and I usually just put them on a plain white muslin so that I can pick them out and use them in different projects. So I just kind of make it universal. I can cut the muslin down, I can sew it onto something else, but this is kind of what if I don't know exactly how I'm going to use it, I put it on this, just the muslin. So first thing that is always is how do I deal with my pictures? Well, that's a whole class in itself, and I'm probably not the best person to teach that class. I use Microsoft Word. I scan my pictures, or my husband scans my pictures only because he has more time than I do. And so let me start at the beginning. I scan them. I bring them up on my computer, which I think is a Microsoft photo program. I prefer Photoshop, but I never can get there. So I bring them up, and I'm going to look at how large can I make the picture before I lose my faces on my people? How dark is the picture? A lot of old photographs are very, very dark. And when they print, they're going to be darker. So I try to lighten them up a little bit after I scan them, and then I save a copy. If you want to save your original for other purposes, family purposes, and that kind of thing. But so I do lighten my pictures a little more than I have done in the past because of the ink.
And I think in Lesley's book, she has information about how
she talks about some great apps. Yes,
and how
thank
to
you,
use
Chris.
your photos and whatever else. So if you're really interested in this, it's a perfect book to order.
It is. She doesn't. I don't even think she scans them anymore. I think she goes directly to taking a picture from her phone. You're right. I read this. It really is very helpful to the modern way of dealing with pictures. I'm still a little bit of a dinosaur. So that I thought was absolutely awesome information. That is true. So I then print on paper, copy paper, how my layouts are. Because I want to make sure, did I really goof something up? I'm transferring, so I have to do the reverse for words. Can assure you, I have forgotten to reverse the words many, many times. Sometimes I've cut the flipping words out and just readjusted the picture. So that's what we do first. And of course, then I save these, and when I do my card making, I get them all. See my owls? I have owls. I love these advertising cards, absolutely love them. So that's what we do first. So once I make sure that I like the pictures, they're light enough, they're good enough, then I'm going to print them on my transfer artist paper or my Paper Solvy. Wash away. Wash away. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you this stuff too, Chris. I have a little table because we're in an area that we haven't worked in before, so I have a little less space. So let's see what we're going to try first, and hope the demo gods are with me. This is one of Leslie's.
We had a question.
Yeah.
What material are you transferring with again?
I am taking transfer artist paper, and I am going to transfer it to just a plain piece of muslin. Was that the question? All right. So, one of the things about transfer artist paper is that it is a polymer, so it's going to be a little stiff. I don't recommend that you try to stitch through it because it will actually create a hole. That is not very pretty. So anywhere that, and I cut things usually down to the edge. So I've done it on, and then here. Kyle, why are you laughing?
Oh, Naya's dropping more links.
Oh. Thank you, Naya. All right. And I know that there are instructions on how to do this. I haven't ever read them, but I do suggest that you do it. One of the things that I know...
The definition of do what I say, not what I do.
Yes, yes. Have not you learned that, Kyle? But I try to keep my iron very hot and then I keep it moving. So, so I don't burn. But also the iron is very hot because we have to heat up the polymer to transfer to the fabric. And I don't know how long it takes. You kind of know. If you move it too fast, it's not heating the polymer. I can actually pull up a corner and see if it's working. Ooh, that iron is hot.
Are you using steam?
No, I'm not. I don't think it matters though. If I remember the directions, it does not matter. Repeat the question. Am I using steam? No. And with transfer artist paper, I don't think it matters.
And how old can your tap be and still work?
Ah, excellent question. Okay. When you have tap, you need to store it in a Ziploc bag. You need to use it. It will, you can't hold it, it's not precious, it's all replaceable. Sometimes it can get very old and it can dry out. And you usually don't know that until you try. But there's people, so like Liz lived in Colorado where everything is very dry. So we had to spritz water on it to make it usable. But it can go bad. Okay, so here you go. I have a little bit of ink left on there, but that's okay. If I want a perfect picture, I'm going to do a direct print.
So Jim Smith has asked, and I think you just need to clarify that you printed the picture on the tap.
Yes.
You don't lay the picture on top of it. You actually
Correct.
print it.
Yes. So that's what let me have one of those pieces of paper back. So I test it in a layout just in Word. So here it is. This is on copy paper. Then I'm going to go to Paper Solvy. And this actually, I keep it in the pack so that I know what I have, and I print it on here. And there's no right or wrong side on this, on the wash away. This is the, okay. Then I print it on transfer artist paper. I've already cut the sheets apart, but everything is printed in an 8.5 by 11. You don't want to wait to use your transfer artist paper. You do want to use it soon. The new formulation lasts longer than the older formulation. If you have the older formulation, throw it out. You're just going to get frustrated because it will, you keep it 1 to 2 years, but we're way past 1 to 2 years. You can try it, you can spritz water on it, but don't expect it. It does say in the directions, which I did read, that it does expire. So the new formulation is much less. You have a little bit longer. Now, when I print it onto my transfer artist paper, I want to transfer it right away. So I don't keep this in a stack. That's why I'm printing on the muslin. That make sense?
Jim, did that answer your question?
Transfer artist paper should be kept in a sealed plastic bag, kind of like, think about your wash away stabilizers and things. That's all polymer. So then when I print it, because the ink is fresh, I use it within 1 or 2 days. Like all of this stuff I printed for the examples, I will process it all in the next couple of days.
I think you answered his question. He said yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. All
now
right.
You have a couple more questions.
Okay.
And let me know that if you can hear me, or does she need to repeat the question. But are the finished pieces machine washable and dryable?
If you're using transfer artist paper on clothing, yes, it is. Paper Solvy or Solvy water soluble transfer, no. You're using a medium on it. You'll understand that when I get to that. I would not wash anything that has any kind of acrylic medium on it. If anybody's tried it, let me know, but I would not do it.
Okay, there's another question and then a comment. Does muslin need to be pre-washed?
No, I don't think so. I kind of grab whatever's available.
Okay.
And like today, I forgot my muslin, so it's right off the bolt. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And the Diane, who lives in a very dry environment, says she dampens her press cloth, then placed it on top of my tap, and it worked really great.
Yes. So if it's really, really dry, you do have to add some liquid,
some sort of moisture.
Moisture, thank you. That was the word. Awesome. That's a great suggestion. We would use a little spray bottle and spray it, but I think that's even better. That's even a better suggestion.
We have an older question that we skipped over. Are there any copyright issues to consider with using old postcards and photo images?
Okay. So it's the same with books. I don't know when copyrights came into existence. I think it was in the 1800s, 1810 maybe. So unless you're trying to print Michelangelo's Mona Lisa and try to resell it, then you shouldn't be doing that. That's a copyright issue. If I have a vintage photo that I know based on the clothing is from before 1810, I'm not worried about it. The postcards, I'm not worried about it. But you do have to think about photos that are still owned by the families or the trusts or the museums and that type of thing. If you're using it for your own pleasure and not trying to make money off of it, and this is a little bit of this is a controversy, I feel it's okay. If I am hanging a picture of the Mona Lisa that I've incorporated into my quilt in my studio, and I'm not selling it, I'm not trying to profit from it, I'm trying to enjoy it, then I'm okay with that. But I can tell you there's lots of people that don't like that.
All right. So you've been using that iron there on that piece of muslin. Are you heating it to increase the transfer, or just to de-wrinkle, or because you kind of like the motion?
It's the motion. This iron is really hot because of the transfer artist paper, so I'm just kind of trying to keep it there. All right, so now I'm going to try something really different and cool. So I did specifically these outfits in black and white. Okay, so I don't know what color I should use. So I think what I'm going to do, I need my glasses, is I'm using Inktense these are Inktense pencils. Most of the time I use blocks because I'm a blockhead. Because I want to add some color to this. And I'm doing it before I iron it. And we can go as dark as we want. It can be as light. You know, you have those colors that look like they were old vintage pictures that were watercolored over. You can have that look if you're more practiced than I am. But I just thought I would do this lightly. Is there a pink in there?
You're coloring directly onto the printed tab.
Yes, I am. Sharon's done this.
Mixed media girl.
Yes. Okay. So I did that directly on my tap. I am going to. So what it's doing now is it's trapping the ink in the polymer as it transfers it to the fabric. And these are older pictures. I've trimmed them down so there's not so much background, and I could have actually cut out the people. I don't do that a lot. I'm checking. I generally try to peel it right away. So not a great job, but you can see how you can color it, which is just cool. Absolutely cool. So I could have, you know, most of the time when I'm using Inktense, as I said, I use the blocks. And this is what I mean with blocks. And then I might have used a little bit of, yeah, sorry, those are my blocks. I could have used a little bit of water to smooth that out so it looked a little more like watercolors. But it's the whole concept of taking these prints and adding your own to it. Okay, we're going to turn the iron down.
And Gwen, we're just getting to it, but that's Tilda.
Okay, so that's transfer artist paper. What time is it?
10:04.
Oh. Okay, let's see. All right. So this is wash away. Why does my husband not know where I am every day at 10 o'clock, every Saturday at 10 o'clock?
Did he just sting you?
Yeah. Dave, I'm online.
He hung up.
Oh, I forgot a brush. I need a foam brush.
And there's a couple questions in there.
Okay.
Yep. Have you ever tried to use fabric medium lightly to activate Inktense color?
Yeah, that would have been good if I had had some textile medium. That would have been a good idea. Yes. You can use that. And that really helps protect it from water by using Inktense and having some textile medium on top of it. And you can water that textile medium down. We actually sold out of textile medium pretty fast based on the silk. So I'm sorry for any of you who are waiting on that. It's coming. And but yeah, that's a good one. That's a great suggestion. Thank you. Any other questions?
I can't find the foam brush. Will this work?
We'll make it work.
Just above, far left, top shelf.
Far left, top shelf.
That.
It's all online. It's all there. It's all part of Tilda.
I'm going to pull the bolt to say what.
what the collection is. Oh my God. Okay, this is a bloom cornflower.
So it's a bloom and it comes in multiple colors.
Yeah, cornflowers, the blue. Okay, all right. So this one is used with matte medium, and I don't know if I've told you this before, but when you open a new jar of any kind of acrylic medium, there is a trick that I was told many, many years ago. You take Vaseline and you put it around your lid and where it screws in, and you don't have a problem with getting the top off then. So, you know, as some of these acrylics, they glue themselves, the jar shut, that's the way to prevent that from happening. All right, so this is Golden Matte Medium, which is the one that we use, not Liquitex, not anybody else's matte medium. We use Golden. Okay, and I'm gonna print this. So this is the wash away. I'm gonna cut. And let's got a brayer too. I need a brayer. Sorry, thought I was more together today than I am.
Should I just take one off the floor?
Yeah. So just for a matter of context, we'll just cut her background out and I'm sorry, I'm going over my time. All right. So I've taken her and I've cut out her trim here. Normally I have a brush that I brush the matte medium on, but I forgot that too. And then we have the brayer. So you need a brayer. And you need a clean brayer. That's usually a problem for me too. But, oh well. So, this is not the way I normally do it. Again, don't do it the way I'm doing it. Do it the way I tell you. Sorry. Kyle's enjoying that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna put the matte medium on the surface that we're transferring to. And we're not gooping it on. You know when I'm gooping stuff on. We are going to, and I have to make sure that I have enough matte medium to grab my ink. So when we do transfer artist paper, we're using the polymer in the transfer artist paper to pull the ink off of the original. With wash away, we're using the polymer by putting the matte medium on there to pull the ink. And wherever I'm going to put the matte medium, I'm going to stiffen my fabric. It's not very thick, but it's wet. Okay, now when Liz and I did this in Italy, she said she no longer puts it on the picture. But for me, I need to. She's now in Seattle where it's nice and wet. But once you start putting the matte medium on here, you're going to start dissolving. So I have it face down. And I'm going to put pressure on it with a brayer. What?
Over 100 people watching you this morning.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That is so cool. And I know it's because all my friends tell their friends.
So Jim Smith says, thank you for all your wisdom you share with us.
Oh,
thank you.
Jim, thank you. You had an absolutely awesome show, didn't you? Congratulations on that. That is Awesome. Portraits. Jim does some really cool portraits. All right. So part of what happens when you're transferring, again, if I want a perfect print, I am going to print it directly onto the fabric, or I'm going to print it on photo paper. Part of what is going on with transferring is some of us wanted to get a not perfect image. Although I did pretty darn good here. Okay, so here she is. And you can see there's a little bit of the paper. You don't want to rub too hard because you totally will rub a hole in her. Ask me how I know that one. And that is just part of the charm. So what I will do is let her dry, and then I actually will go back in and do a little bit of rubbing to get a little bit of the paper off again. And then I will put matte medium over her, and that takes away the little bit of the paper idea too.
Well, I think Catherine Miller just kind of led this into discussion. Could this be used for fabric paper?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely, you can do it. So try it, Catherine. Let us see what you come up with. Do some tests for us.
And then we have a comment this is another product I didn't know I needed until this morning.
That's the idea. Oh my God, they saw right through me. Yeah, so we want you, it's just so fun. It really is fun, and that's part of what this business is about for me, is showing you some really cool things to have you try to create your art, which you do outside of the box, outside of what you normally know. And that was what we did for 10 years when we went to shows, is we taught people about unusual materials to use in the demos and the shows. So I'm glad that everybody likes it. And I love pictures. I don't like my pictures, but I love everybody else's pictures.
So to clarify, that this method is not washable.
I would not wash it because of the mat. I never have washed anything that was working with a polymer, but for sure with the transfer artist paper, it is made to be washable. Again, you want to be gentle, non-chlorine, not a lot of time in the dryer. I mean, I kind of say that about all my hand dyes, all of these pictures and transfers, and paints. When I say you can wash it, you can't throw it in with the jeans and have it rubbed together and take the paint off. So just be careful about that.
So another question is, could you use this Solvy technique with an original photo? Using the matte medium and the original photo.
I don't know. I've not tried it. It's ink on there. It's from an inkjet. It's possible. Again, great idea. Try it. Let us know what happens.
And share on the
Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds group. Yes. That's okay. Yeah. We got some good questions. Great. All right. Any others?
As far as links to other, items and products that'll be...
Hasn't Naya done it all?
I'll actually do it.
Yeah, we will.
It might not be immediately because there's people coming in the store already, but I will get them up, and I will get it up on the YouTube channel where the previous 3 weeks are up. So if you've missed any of this 4-week series, and you'll want to watch those, because in February, Judy's going to show us how she uses the things she's taught this month.
Right, exactly. So join us next Saturday. Shop frequently, be creative, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
And don't forget to vote for your local quilt shop.
Here it is. Thank you.